Eating clean and going green makes sense, but what about the drinks?
We've come to Corney and Barrow to talk to head wine buyer Rebecca Palmer and to taste some wines.
So there is a lot of talk about vegetarian food and vegetarian wines, but what does vegetarian mean to you?
Well, there are different versions of the vegetarian diet, but we kept it in its simplest form, which was no fish and no meat. And I have to say, we had a great time following this vegetarian diet, and we're incorporating it more and more, as I think many people are, into our daily life, because there's so much scope for experimentation, whether it's the food or the wine.
But, of course, not all wines are vegetarian, are they?
You might automatically think that all wine is vegetarian. In fact, it isn't. And that's to do with many things, but one of the key ones is clarification, a process by which you stop wine being cloudy before you send it out. And some of the processing agents by which you clarify wine can be animal-derived. So, for example, animal-derived gelatin or isinglass from fish. If you use those to clarify, it renders the wine non-vegetarian. So there are vegetarian alternatives to those products, things like albumin from egg whites or casein from milk or non-animal derived gelatin or bentonite from clay. These things can be used, and that means the wines will be suitable for vegetarians.
So they're not actually in the wine, are they?
No, processing agents really, they take out all the sort of haze and things in the wine, so they are sort of filtered out through the process, but they're still used, and actually therefore they're still not suitable for vegetarians.
And actually quite a lot of wines are vegetarian, which does give you loads of scope, because in terms of the food, really you're just looking for a wine that will go the right style to go with the food.
Yeah.
I mean, we ended up eating a lot of vegetables, but really flavoursome vegetables. But then you do tend to eat probably a little bit more cheese, cream, pastry, dairy kind of products. So you do tend to need wines that are relatively boldly flavoured.
Well, I've got a trio of wines here, which I hope will fit that bill. Should we try them?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first one we have is a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, from a grower we've been working with for many years called Michael Oradus.
That just smells, immediately it smells like green things and vegetables and citrus fruits.
It's classic, isn't it? And actually, we did try, I'm just thinking of one dish that we tried, which was an asparagus and pea and mint tart, so on a pastry base with some ricotta and parmesan, and we tried a New Zealand Sauvignon with it, and it was just perfect, because you're getting that really crunchy, zesty character that works with the asparagus but kind of cuts through all the cheesy pastriness as well.
Yeah, so you need something quite bold and vibrant that will be able to sort of compete with all those flavours.
Good.
And that's delicious, really typical, but a wine that brings to mind food, makes you think of food, and wonderful vegetarian options with that wine.
Salivate and celebrate, right? Okay, let's try our next wine, which is actually from Burgundy in France. It's made from the Chardonnay grape, from Puy-Fuissé, small domaine,
Thank you.
who is vegetarian.
And it's an oaked one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So this is elegantly oaked Chardonnay from Burgundy, from a classic area of Burgundy, which can be really good value. And what's nice about these sort of wines is that they're still elegant, but they have a richness to them, which helps them go with this maybe more dairy, richer, pastry-filled products.
Well, and funny enough, there was one dish that we cooked which was very unusual, and we kind of looked at the recipe and thought, I'm not sure about this, but it was an Ottolenghi dish, and Yotan Ottolenghi, I mean, he's the best at adventurous, kind of crazy vegetarian dishes, and it was a Brussels sprout risotto with dolce latte, and I was thinking, I don't know what I'm going to put with this, but actually an oaked Chardonnay was exactly right, and I think it's to do with that nutty creaminess and a little bit of roundness that was it was gorgeous, wasn't it?
This is beautiful.
Yeah, I think you need something like that to carry that creaminess.
Yeah, it's got a gorgeous creaminess, butteriness, this wine. And again, it just brings to mind the dishes we're talking about.
Let's come round soon. Right, our third wine is a red. It's from New Zealand, from a producer called Elephant Hill. The producer is based in the North Island in Hawke's Bay, but actually the grapes for this particular wine are grown in Central Otago, so actually right in the south where they have
so there's a richness to this wine, because it's got a lovely full body as well as being quite elegant.
But that lovely sort of summer berry fruit. It's just great, isn't it?
Spicy.
And you say spicy, yes, but I was going to say we did find that we tended to use quite a few spices when we were cooking the vegetarian, and it gave new flavours, and mushrooms as well. So one dish was a Cajun spiced mushroom dish with a bean salad with a cashew nut and coriander dressing. It was a Jo Pratt, a great cook, great chef, one of her recipes. And this is exactly the kind of wine it needed. That red, juicy, full-bodied but not tannic, not overly oaked, and just soft and juicy, and it just worked brilliantly with the spice.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this one.
It's
I
delicious.
can actually, just for the record, it is a vegetarian wine. There is no elephant in it.
Thank you for clarifying.
Good. Very important with a vegetarian wine. Cheers.
Cheers.